Hello, folks. It's Tuesday, the 25th of March. I'm here with you. Cheers. How y'all doing? There we go. I don't like to see too many white spots on my black sweater. How y'all doing? I'm doing good. Just got up 8:50, a little slow this morning. So let's just dive on in. First up, I want to say that I'm very glad to know from some of you folks the effect of the videos. Outer Galaxy shares that you inspire people to be creative, especially in times when the world is more insane than ever. He shares that he has started to write a fifth book because he can't let the outside world dictate what he does. I like that. I want to write books so odious to the normies that Donald Trump would want to ban them, which tells me I'm doing something right. Well, speaking truth to power is always doing something right. And that's what the problem is people are trying to speak truth to power, and it's not working. It's just the people who have the power are out of control. But I'm glad to inspire others and do make your art, write, make music, create. Be friendly, be nice to people. How about that? That's a revolutionary act these days, is to actually have empathy. Isn't that weird? That's why I've said many times over the years, our minds and our mentality is plastic. We think reality is hardwired. It changes just like that. People can believe anything, and as you can see by what's happening in the world, that's the problem. People will believe anything. It's sad. Yeah, I'm not going to shave today. So I have a couple of amazing night listens. The night listens I listened to last night, I had to listen to both of them twice. But even better than that is yesterday, actually the day before, in the Homer's Daily used record drops that they put on Instagram, they showed something that I was interested in, which is not always the case. And so I called down there to see if the album was still there. I waited a day because at first I thought, well, I have an original, I don't need it. But I called and it was still there. So I went down yesterday to Homer's and actually bought some records. And did I have fun digging? I sure did. I didn't over dig, but I actually went and bothered to look in the singles, because Homer's has thousands of singles, but mostly stuff that I don't, if I could find it for a quarter, I'd buy it, but not for $5. But I took a look there. But they had something that I said, that belongs in my collection. So I went down and I bought it, and a couple of other used albums, nothing new. So the thing that caught me in their update yesterday was this. Music von Harmonia plus reworks. That's what got me. It's this is the reissue. Because I have an original Brain reissue, okay? So the first edition of Music von Harmonia on Brain is on Green Brain. And if you look that up on Discogs and see what those are going for, that's insane. I happen to have a repress on Brain, which still isn't cheap. But at first, when I saw it in the update, on Homer's yesterday, on Instagram rather. I was thinking while I have it, it would be an indulgence to get the reissue until I looked more closely and saw plus reworks. And then the color scheme, I already could see that the color scheme was different. The original is blue and this is green. But this is a double album. You get a whole nother album on the Grindline. Not much to see there, Grindline. Of reworkings and remixes. And I knew to expect that the reworks would be interesting, and they are all good. I was surprised to hear vocals, but they work. Vittoria Maccabruni. It works really well. She does two of them, one with Michael Rother. And all the remixes are excellent. Redone by Michael Rother on a couple of these. So this was a real happy purchase. And then, you know, the fact that it was used, it was like, that price is right. So that goes, so this happily is added to my Harmonia collection, along with the original first one. And I have an original of the second one, Harmonia Deluxe. Oh, I love that cover. Orange is my favorite color. I just love the color. And then that scene, it just captures the feeling of so much of their music. The serenity of that, it's a mixture of serenity and action in that picture. Love this album. And then this is a reissue, Rock on Brain, called Dino, but it's basically the first album. Yeah, they didn't even mix it up. It's just the first album with a new cover. I love this music very much. And I've actually done homages musically to this stuff, and then Harmonia and Eno 76. This is good if you see this. This is worth grabbing. So I was very happy to add that to my collection. The other three records, I bought three more in the used section. Nothing groundbreaking, but nice additions, okay? Oh, I meant to show it. So, this is an album that you need to know about. Big Stars, #1 record. Now, I meant to grab it to show. It's in the other room. But I have the UK double release of this on Stax with their second album, which is a collectible. I've had it for years, but I've never owned this, and this is a reissue. Of course, this is not a first ardent pressing. This is an album that gets lauded by critics and fans alike for good reason. These guys were out of there was really no one in their league at this time when they made this album. Big power pop, Beatles influence and beyond. This is a big record. For good reason, this is one of those albums to know about and to at least hear if you don't own. Alex Chilton gets the attention, but Chris Bell, they were matched. Chris Bell, if anything, might be the true star of the album, not Alex Chilton, but because of the box tops and all his stuff, people always talk about Chilton. This is a brilliant pop album. The playing, the arranging, the writing, the words even, the way that the words touch on everyday life, relationships. This is a very important album. This is a crap pressing though. This is a reissue. Who knows who reissued it? It's a lousy pressing. Good thing I have the other on UK pressing on stacks. I meant to show it, which is good. That's a good one. This one was like, oh, well. And then especially for the price, less than $10, I said, yeah, I gotta take this home. The Walker Brothers. The sun ain't gonna shine anymore. Baby, you don't have to tell me. Mono. This is an original. Mono on Smash. Now this is a walk through the past. Look at that hair, for heaven's sakes. Jeez. Even as a kid, I was thinking, what is wrong with these people and this hair? But the sun ain't gonna shine anymore. I remember from childhood, Scott Walker's voice stood out. Big and just... But on top of that, forever I've had the single, and my single is Beat. But I like the B side as much as the A side, which is thankfully on here. After the Lights Go Out. Really, I played this whole record yesterday, really enjoyed it. This is back when everyone was trying to copy the Phil Spector production sound, so they're trying to do that on this. They fail, but still, they try. Gives it a big sound. While listening to this yesterday was the first time that I had any inkling that the Walker Brothers were kind of being seen by some as a white soul band. Never occurred to me until I listened to the album and I said, oh, they do the impressions people get ready on here. And it's like, it almost works, almost. But then that's when I started to think, well, what are these people up to? And then I noticed some of the other songs where it's like, oh, okay, so Scott Walker is kind of seen as an ersatz soul belter, which he's not. He just has a really sincere voice. I have a whole section of Scott Walker albums, and so this goes in there. I rediscovered Scott Walker through Radiohead, watching a DVD, I think it is, associated with OK Computer, where Tom York is listening to Scott 4 in a room, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what is that music? What's Scott Walker? And that's like, I had to go back, and it's like, yeah, that is some excellent stuff. And then the other thing that I found yesterday, this is going to be for the collection, but I doubt that I'll be playing this much again because of the voice, okay? I'm a stickler when it comes to vocals, but I had never seen this before. Ernst, Fuchs, Klaus Schulze, and Rainer Bloss, Africa. And this is an original on small label, 1984. I had never seen this album before yesterday. Africa. And this Ernst Fuchs guy sings, and he has this voice that is, I say, and it's an acquired taste. And I just noticed this on the inside sleeve. Sung in German, extremely painful to listen to. Oh my God. Well, I have to say that I have to agree. His singing was like, why? That was, as I was listening to it, all I could think is why. There's something about working with this man that is apparently important to them or something, because, and why is he singing about Africa? Why is he singing about Africa? Since I don't understand German. The music is cool. It's that thing that Klaus Schulze is really good at. Bubbling, burbling, moving, electronics. So musically, this is really good. And thankfully, there are several passages where the guy shuts up, but there's way too much singing. But this is a keeper for my Klaus Schulze collection. I had never seen it before. So there's that. So as a result of getting the records, it got me to crank up the turntable, and play some records. I have a couple night listens. I'll get to them. But I did a bit of listening, but as well as rehearsing. Now that's the other thing that I'm reactivated. Now I'm rehearsing literally. My shows aren't for several weeks, but I'm actually practicing. What am I going to play? Because a lot of times, I've done solo shows in the past where it's like the main thing happening is that the music is being played through the MIDI interface. And I can play along live, but a lot of times it's like it'll be like an afterthought. This time I'm actually practicing some parts to add live, as well as I plan to play some bass as well. So I'm activated, loving it. But besides rehearsal yesterday, buying those records got me all back into, play some more records. So played some records and enjoyed very much what I played. Terje Rypdal, Chaser. Always up for this man's guitar playing and way of presenting music. He has a whole sound that it's just immediately recognizable and big. It's as much prog as it is jazz. It's a very good album, Chaser, with this small group here. Real good. The other thing that I got into, I've been thinking about this record. I see records in my mind, and it's like, it's probably time to play that. And so I finally did. I grabbed the Mahjun. Isn't that a pretty cover? I'm going to take it out. French folk progressive band. It says here in the hype Obi, Mahjun, one of the most innovative French prog underground bands, made their eponymous classic debut album on the very productive Saraba label in 1973. Saraba is a label that I just have a couple things on that label, but it's a collectible label. This is pretty cool, and I love the cover, the graphics. What I picked up on while listening to this yesterday is this almost sounds like they are more into entertaining themselves than playing for an audience. So the Souffle Continu label. Sounds like they're having a lot of fun, and that there's a very positive feeling being shared while making this music. So the cover and the colors, which I just love, are very fitting. This was like listening to this was like visiting people from another country, but you're made to feel very, very welcome. But it's like you're outside of what's going on. So this was an enjoyable listen yesterday. I also went ahead because I've had this even longer. I've had this album for years. This is my introduction to the band, Mahjun, happy French band. I've had this a long time. This came out in 1977 or 78. I probably found a copy of this maybe 79 or 80. I've had it that long. On the Gratte label, which I also like and have a couple other things on it. Now, for the longest time, my memory of this album was the happy, silly, folky part of the album, which is all right, but, in small amounts. But when I played it yesterday, I played all the way through, and I completely forgot the band had evolved from the first album into a jazz rock band. So they jam out on here, and they do some, not just folky things, but they do some fusion-y jam outs on here, and they're good musicians. I had forgotten that. That was a nice surprise. Oh, wow, this is good. And a definite progression from the first album. So this was a happy rediscovery yesterday. Like I said, really having fun rediscovering my own collection. It was great on top of that to buy some records yesterday. It was good that the price, even with 4 records, kept it under $100, way under $100, which I still need to do as I prepare for some spring repairs on the house. I need another cup. So, next to the Mahjun, alphabetically over there, was this. So they were stuck together. So I said, okay, just grab them. Then decided, well, okay, they're out. Let's listen to them, okay? Magna Carta, folk band. I don't know if they're Scottish or English or Irish or maybe a combination. These albums regularly show up in the used sections here in the Midwest. I really enjoyed this yesterday. Now, one of the reasons why their albums, when they come up used, that I buy them, is because they're on Vertigo. These are not coveted because it's not any of those titles. But it's still, this is Vertigo Swirl, baby. I'm a UK. I love that. And this is good stuff. They're very good players. I mean, they can really play their instruments in the folk tradition. But there's a silliness that's sprinkled throughout what they do. This album here is recorded in the Netherlands, I believe. And they're having a lot of fun with the audience, and they tell jokes and stuff, but the playing is really good, real good. So that was enjoyable. Now, I also went ahead, and these two were stuck together, so I went ahead and played them both. I played them both all the way through. It's another Magna Carta album. Songs from Wasties Orchard. And this is kind of a nice, isn't it nice? Like opening a crate. Once again, it's on the and I got the inner sleeves too. It's on Vertigo, man. I love the Vertigo label. I get it. Why it's coveted. Now this album is interesting because one side is more silly than the other. So one side of this was kind of groans, like, oh man. And I said, that's gotta be more, there's gotta be more to this. So I turned it over, and the other side is okay. They don't sound like Fairport Convention or Pentangle, but it's in that area of folk rock, and they're very good players. So that was pleasant. That was a pleasant trip. The other record that got played is Dry Jack. This is Inner City is a label that licensed a lot of really good stuff from other labels around the world, jazz in particular, but their pressing quality is sketch, not always up to par. This starts off on the light side of jazz rock. Elements, magical elements, but it gets better. There's several really good tracks on here. These guys are good players. Chuck Lamb, I've heard of him from somewhere else besides here. But this is pretty good. I actually have another album by them. So that's the vinyl. I gotta get some more coffee. I'm just here for another second. But the two night listens last night, hadn't listened to these in a long time, so Intained by Vladislav Delay. Do you know this name? Vladislav Delay. Intain is the name of this album. This is something else. This is the sort of thing that Music Concrete led to. This person is using electronics, but the main thing they're doing is they've recorded sounds like knocks on a table, someone bumps into a lamp, the sound of hitting a tin can, things like that, mixed with ambient sound, and it's random, but then before you know it, he pulls them together into a beat. It's like, whoa, whoa. Vladislav Delay. I have something else by him that he did with Sly and Robbie. This is unusual. And it's that label that I was interested in, Mia Plateau. Mia Plateau. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. This was like, well, I had to play this again. Because after a while, and I fall asleep, and then I wake up again and it's like, what is that sound? I thought maybe I was hearing stuff in the house, which always catches my interest because I live alone, and kept listening, and it's like, it's the CD. It sounds like things happening. This is awesome. Vladislav Delay, Intain. I was like, wow. The other one that's really good, Dextro. Someone sent this Dextro to me. I had heard of them, but had never bought their stuff. Winded. Dextro, Winded. Very, very good. A little bit, they don't sound like Boards of Canada, but that's a reference. If you like Boards of Canada, you'll probably find something about this. There's a bit of vocals on here too. The graphics, I have a couple of these on vinyl. That's why I love vinyl, so you can get the big graphics. But these are very fitting for the music. This is very good. Very, very good. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but can you hear the music from a few doors down? It's only 9 in the morning, and why do they have to play the music outside so loud? Anybody listening to your shit? That does piss me off about people in the inner city. It's like, don't you realize you got neighbors? Shit. A couple other things that got played. It's a music day. Well, every day is a music day for me. Amorphous Androgynous, the mellow hippie disco show. This is like a single. It's not actually an album. I wouldn't call this an album. It's like because they're doing this one song, and through the whole thing, these variations on it. And this is an interesting project to me. Future Sound of London is who these people are, but on this, there's a aspect of throwback to the 70s, and then something of all of its own. That was enjoyable. Last thing I'll show is this: Eric Avinger, Heart Magic guitarist. Mostly this is very good, and this is a favorite from back in the 1989. This is one that I found for $1. Loved it. This is a favorite. I played this a lot over the years. In particular, track number 2, Issa. Lovely acoustic guitar work as well as electric. The acoustic work is more interesting than the electric. Eric Avinger, Heart Magic. Oh, the power of good music. Yeah, someone else said it. It's like, music is the best way to travel. And when I was a child, I discovered that, especially through being completely entranced by the Beatles and the British wave. You know, music, life is different over there, you know, and I'm hearing it and getting a taste of it through the music. And then and also thankfully because of my parents, through classical music and opera, you know, being exposed to cultures that I wasn't being exposed to living in the poor side of town in Omaha. Music and art make life so fantastic. That's what I got for you today, folks. Leave a comment.